The stock market this year has been completely insane. Between inflation, Fed monetary policy, Middle Eastern conflicts, data center construction, AI takeovers. Well, at first thought, you might think that the markets are completely crashing due to the volatility. Let's face it, investors don't like volatility. They don't like to gamble. They like to, well, just make money and on autopilot. But the reality, guys, is that the stock market has not necessarily completely collapsed. In fact, the S&P 500 is up nearly 4% this year, and it's hitting record highs above 7,000, which is honestly quite shocking. AI tech stocks have surged. Big companies, the Magnificent Seven, just crushing it. Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, absolutely crushing it. But at the same time, we also see a SaaS apocalypse happening. Basically, any time that there's a big AI update, we see the SaaS companies plummet. In fact, the SaaS portion of the S&P 500 are down nearly 30% this year. And all these traditional SaaS companies are feeling the burn, and well, there are significant impacts to the job market as a result. We're seeing a lot of companies saying we're going to be more efficient, we're going to be AI forward and AI first. A friend of mine I was just talking to earlier today said he was at a big meeting. He works remotely. I'm going to talk about him a little bit later in the video also. For a big company. And it was funny, he said one of the women in the meeting said, well, we have a goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2030, but we're also AI first, and that's a super data, a super power hungry, electric hungry type of goal. So how do we square that circle? And it was crickets across the room. It's kind of funny. Companies are just really going toward this AI efficiency model and kind of throwing caution to the wind. And if you've been subscribed to the channel, it wouldn't be a surprise to you that a lot of human beings, a lot of people like you and me, a lot of men who want to remain relevant, respected, and financially free are being caught in the crosshairs. Because the reality is humans are expensive, we're messy, we're clunky, and if a lot of companies say if I can use AI to do that job better or more cost effective, they're going to do it. I'm doing it. Basically everybody I know is doing it. We've got to be AI first. So what does all this mean, guys? Because the reality is if we are in fact going to be relevant, respected, and financially free in this new world, it starts with actually being able to play a part in it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be sitting back relying on the federal government to hand me out UBI checks. I mean, we covered a few months ago, SNAP benefits ran out for a lot of people. A lot of people going hungry because, Congress couldn't get it together and agree on funding the SNAP benefits. So I don't want to be in that shoe. I don't want to be in those shoes. I want to be relevant. I want to have a career. I want to have a job. I want to have projects I'm working on that make me feel valued and relevant. I think as men, we need that. And quite frankly, if you're not able to put food on the table, you're going to have a hard time making your wife, girlfriend, kids, etc. happy. So relevance, respect, and financial freedom all come in order. Because the reality, guys, is that we're kind of moving through this phase of humanity where the problems you've solved in the past are not going to be the problems that you solve in the future. And again, if you've been subbed to the channel, this is not the first time you're hearing me talk like this. Because the reality is, guys, that volatility doesn't just stop at the stock market. It is directly impacting the hiring chain. Check this out. As market uncertainty rises, the CFOs and the leadership, well, they start to get nervous. They start to get conservative. They need the profit. They need shareholder returns. And so what do? Well, they freeze hiring and start running layoffs. And this is already happening, guys. If there was an era, I'd say you are here. In fact, we covered this in a video a couple of days ago. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, said that during March, we saw no new job creation in the private markets. Why? Because companies are not only laying off people to free up capital for AI investments, but they're freezing hiring. They're just not hiring new people. And what does that mean? Well, what they're doing, guys, this is it's not rocket science. I just don't understand why people want to debate me in the comments on this, guys. It's not rocket science. What's happening is companies are cutting out all the fat, and they're cutting out anyone they feel they can do business without. And then whoever's left over, they say, hey, we want you to use AI. We want you to use Claude. We want you to use ChatGPT. We want you to use our Salesforce or whatever. We want you to use our AI agentic programs to try to fill in the gaps. And then what's going to happen is they're going to say, oh, well, we need more people here, or this didn't work, or this worked really well, and they're going to adjust. But in the meantime, what do? You're on the job market competing against tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people for the same job. You're going on LinkedIn, you can't find a job because everyone's applying for the same job, and you're all applying for ghost jobs, and everyone's using AI agents to apply, and then they're using AI agents to review the applications. And you've done 200, 300 applications, you still can't get an interview. Yeah, it's exhausting. This is already happening, guys. This is exactly where we are at right now. And today I just want to give a couple different strategies, a couple different ideas that, can help keep you relevant, respected, and financially free during this tumultuous time. Because what we're seeing, at least right now, is what's going first are the white collar office jobs, the corporate jobs. We've seen this from big companies. Just a couple days ago, we covered Meta planning to lay off 20% of their base, and they're starting with middle management. Companies are relying on AI to fill in the gaps here and at the bottom of the career ladder. They basically, like, AI is like book smart but not street smart, kind of like a kid who's fresh out of college or fresh with an engineering degree. Anyone on a computer essentially right now is at risk. And again, there's a couple different options here, one of which is, let me just get into it. But I do want to give a shout out to CourseCareers, who is the sponsor of today's video. I appreciate you guys. Love what you guys are doing over there. More on them in just a moment. Okay, so there's a few different strategies you can take here in order not to be on the unemployment line and on food stamps, because Lord knows that's not going to make you relevant, respected, or financially free. So one option is to turn your current expertise into a side hustle. You build a side business, and this is kind of the strategy that I'm personally taking, and this is a strategy you could take. You take the various skills, network, resources to build additional streams of income. What are the skills you already have? What make you relevant now? Can you turn that into additional consulting or create different business opportunities from that? This YouTube channel, for example, is starting to bring on new opportunities that I didn't really expect to happen. But after 7 years of YouTube and creating YouTube and doing marketing for various organizations, running ads for different organizations, using Claude and Claude Cowork and various sorts of AI integrations, it's starting to come together is a reasonable side business. So if I lose my main, like 80% of my income right now is coming from a couple select clients, if for some reason I get let go there, okay, well, at least I have an infrastructure over here that I can lean on. I have relationships, I have a CRM, I have email list, I have different skills. I have something I can lean on. And I think that's a safe place to be. Like, what's a side hustle that you can start? And listen, with this side hustle, you're not looking to replace your job or replace your primary income right off the bat. You're just looking for something on the side to hedge. I think that's a good place to go. Again, the same friend of mine who had that meeting, I was talking to him earlier today because I was having a problem with my water heater. And he has a side business. He has a side business as a handyman. He has a few core offerings. And what he does is he just takes side jobs. He leverages the referrals to get more referrals. If he gets laid off from his primary job, he's going to be fine. He's going to be, honestly, he'll probably be more than fine. His side business is looking really, really strong. And I was talking to him, he's a smart guy. He's got a good infrastructure. That's kind of what I'm talking about, right? What is a side business that you could create? What is a side hustle that's relevant, that could catapult you in case you lose your job? And again, I've said this before, you kind of want to start before, you want to start your side hustle before you need to make money, right? Because if you get laid off from your job and you have no sort of additional income stream, that's a very dangerous place to be at, because if you're like most people, you probably don't have 6 months worth of emergency fund to kind of keep you going. You got to have something in place so you can say, okay, now I'm ready to shift my effort and my expertise and my hours over into the side hustle. So again, start your side hustle earlier. I think for me, this is one of the biggest levers you can pull. Take your current expertise, leverage AI, build a side hustle that can comprise 20% of your income, right? I think that's kind of the target goal that we want to be at, all right? So that's one option. And then the other option, if the side hustle is not a fit, you might say, Mark, the skills that I've built up, I'm very concerned. I'm seeing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people being laid off in this career field, and I think I need to shift. And again, if you're 55 years old, this might not be the right call for you. But if you're younger in your career, your 20s, 30s, maybe your early 40s, you're thinking like, maybe I need just a new skill set. CourseCareers is probably one of the best options. Again, shout out to them as a sponsor of today's video, because CourseCareers has free courses in recession-proof fields like supply chain, construction, and medical. And a lot of guys are talking about this, and I do happen to believe this is true, that being in construction and the skilled trades are essentially immune to what's happening with AI. They are very short-staffed. In fact, construction in the month of January of this year added 33,000 jobs. And it's been shown that the sector must attract 350,000 new workers this year due to retirements and growth. Yet at the same time, 92% of these contractors report the inability to fill open positions. And we've talked about this before. Just look at the facts, guys. Data center construction is massive, and how we are in the middle of a housing shortage. There is a housing boom. We need to build a lot more homes. We're in the middle of a construction and infrastructure boom, and there are not enough people to fill those jobs. I also covered a few weeks ago Ford. Ford can't get enough workers to fill those roles to build cars. So again, good fields to be in right now. These are the fields that are going to allow you to stay relevant, respected, and financially free. And quite frankly, you don't need a $200,000 college degree. You don't need to go to trade school for months. I'm in a prior life a few years ago, I got HVAC certified. I went to a community college, technical college. It cost me thousands of dollars, and I was spending half my day in person at the school, and that was for about 7, maybe even 8 months before I even was able to get hired. Well, what CourseCareers does really well is you can train online, at home, on your computer. You could try it completely free and click the link below to check them out. And you can be completed with their certification program in about 4 to 12 weeks. So in 4 to 12 weeks, you could actually be hired in a new role, making good money. I think that's insane. Plus, again, money back guarantee. They've been doing it for over 6 years. And one of the things I like about CourseCareers is their emphasis isn't necessarily just on getting you certified, it's on getting you hired. So they have a very robust system for helping you get interviews, finding places to get hired. They even have a marketplace where vendors can actually look at people and students that have completed the courses and hired directly there. So great program. Yeah, a lot of respect for what they're doing there. And there are different options. I'm not saying CourseCareers is the only option, but if you're searching for a way to remain relevant, respected, financially free, you want to get into a new field quick, I think it's one of the best ways. And by the way, it could be that you finish that course and you turn that into a side hustle. My buddy who's doing handyman work, he's focusing on 3 specific things that he knows he can replicate and scale up quickly. That's water heater flushes, dryer vent cleanouts, and pressure washing sidewalks. I mean, you see me walking through this neighborhood. He's already done dozens and dozens of homes in the neighborhood, and he's getting ready to scale up, and his side hustle could end up being a 7, 8-figure business at some point. So anyway, sky's the limit, boys. Check out CourseCareers. Again, totally free. They have AI courses. They have all sorts of skilled trade courses, sales courses, and they have a focus on getting you hired. And they sponsor today's video. So I really appreciate them supporting me and men just like you. Guys, smash the link below. I'll see you next video, boys. See ya. Peace.